when am I in my element, and yeah, how did I get there? You may have heard creative people talking about being in the zone or getting in the groove or finding their element. Maybe this is something that you seek yourself, but it is quite often a question that people sort of like, oh, it's kind of elusive. There's a bit of mystery surrounding how you really become in the element or in the zone for when you're being creative. And something, yeah, I've thought a lot about it. I've experienced a lot in different ways, whether I've got a camera in my hand or I'm working in the garden or I'm sitting down with a nice piece of teak wood in my hand doing some carving or making videos. There's lots of different ways that I find myself in the element, and it's really enjoyable. So I just wanted to, yeah, share some of this with you and try and maybe encourage you and clarify for you what it's like and why it's something that is really good to seek. I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for a long, long time. And one of the first things that I learned when I first started in my working career was I was told, it was drummed into me, make sure it's sharp. So make sure when you take a photograph that your main subject is in focus. And being in focus is something that's really important, not only in photography, but to finding your element and finding that being in that zone is a time when I'm acutely focused. There's very little distraction, and if there is distraction, I overcome it. It's easy to, yeah, see what I'm doing very, very clearly. And there's also a harmony, there's a peace, there's a passion and an excitement quite often, but there's this underlying calm of just a confidence and a surety of what I'm doing right at this moment, and that's where my focus is just the right thing to be doing. And so being focused on exactly what I'm doing right now and being undistracted from it and finding a real harmony. And it's not only a mental thing, it's an emotional aspect as well to being in the zone and being in your element, and also quite physical too. So if I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling, you know, in an uncomfortable place, sometimes to prepare, I might go and cut some firewood, split some logs or something like that if I'm a bit frustrated with something. Otherwise, just to sit and meditate, to sit and have some contemplative prayer time and just bring myself to a place where I can really focus my thoughts, focus my emotions, and focus my body on what I'm doing so I can really engage with it and therefore really enjoy it. And to me, this is one of the key things about being in the element, is just being focused right here, right now, with no distraction. And also the other thing too, especially with something like photography, if I don't know my camera, if I'm unfamiliar with the camera and I'm trying to figure it all out, this is not conducive to being in a real good creative flow. It's so important to study your craft and to practice. And it's similar when I'm in the garden. I did some pruning a while ago. Our trees have grown a lot, and yeah, this is something that I'd never really needed to do before because I'd never had a garden with big trees that grow fast that needed pruning. So it took me a while to really become comfortable and confident and to find my groove with it. But when I did, I enjoyed it so much. Once I'd figured out which parts of the tree to prune and where to cut it and how to step back and look at it from different angles to make sure I was getting the shape right and that I was going to be looking after the health and the well-being of the tree, then I found myself in the groove and really enjoying it. So yeah, whether I've got a camera in my hand or whether I've got a piece of wood that I'm carving and some chisels or a knife, this is another time when I'm sitting peacefully in the evening or on a Sunday afternoon in the garden, working away on a carving. I can become completely immersed in what I'm doing and just really forget about anything else that's going on. I'm focused, I'm in my zone, I'm engaged with being right here, right now. And this is so vital to enjoying life, not just the creative parts of life, but the whole of life. Because I find that these times of having a camera and taking photos or doing wood carving or being in the garden, and yeah, whether I'm pruning or planting or weeding or mulching or whatever I'm doing in the garden, when I'm engaged and when I'm at peace, when I find a harmony within my thoughts and my emotions and my body, this is when I'm in my zone. And practice and become confident in what you're doing, and you will find yourself when you're in the element. I'm reading a book by Sir Ken Robinson of the same name. I'll leave a link for the element in the description below. It's very inspiring. It's very encouraging. He tells tons of amazing stories in there and gives his perspective as a lifelong educator as to what it is to be in your element. I'm going to share a little bit more about this in a bit of a longer video. If you're interested to watch that, I'll leave a link for that. It'll be on our Substack. And in the meantime, if you're interested to know more about what we do and how we enjoy life here at Suan Sook Homestay in Northern Thailand, you can check out this video next. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And thanks very much for watching this one all the way through again.